This is India Club Snack and Chat show. We do it every month, around middle of the month, and there are people from all different kind of backgrounds here, which is so good to see. And I really appreciate Hinderji coming and videotaping it.
I am Tia, and I am here today on behalf of my women empowerment organization, Empowered BWB. And I would like to say India Club is doing an amazing job. They're helping connect the community, they're inspiring everyone. And there are some very esteemed guests here, including the Hillshire Mayor, dignitaries, community helpers, workers. So kudos to Shibaji and Akshay ji for always inviting me and doing this amazing event.
Party we will organize, and we would like a big input from you all so we can really make a huge splash of glamour and Bollywood and multicultural dancing and all that. So with that.
Now we start the snack and chat.
LIFE, everybody knows. L, living in full enjoyment.
Yes.
And the key to open this door of life, L, live in the present moment. In the now, Eckhart Tolle is a spiritual person. He wrote 3 books which I read. The power of now, number 1. Number 2, practicing the power of now. How to practice it to live in the present moment. And a new earth. Inducting simplicity is the funda. Number 3, fulfill your duties, obligations, responsibility. Do your homework. Then there is no stress.
ਬਣੈਣ ਲੈਣ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹੋ, ਬਣੈਣ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਂਦੇ ਹੋ, ਪਾਉਂਦੇ ਹੋ ਤਾਂ ਪੈਂਦੀ ਨਹੀਂ, ਪੈ ਜਾਏ ਤਾਂ ਲੈਂਦੀ ਨਹੀਂ, ਲੈ ਜਾਏ ਤਾਂ ਦੂਜੀ ਵਾਰੀ ਪਾਉਣ ਜੋਗੀ ਰਹਿੰਦੀ ਨਹੀਂ। ਬਣੈਣ ਮੈਂ ਦਿਆਂਗਾ, ਬਣੈਣ ਮੈਂ ਦਿਆਂਗਾ, ਪਾਓਗੇ ਤਾਂ ਪੈ ਜਾਏ, ਲਾਓਗੇ ਤਾਂ ਲੈ ਜਾਏ, ਲੈ ਜਾਏ ਤਾਂ ਦੂਜੀ ਵਾਰੀ ਪਾਉਣ ਜੋਗੀ ਰਹਿ ਜਾਏ। ਬਣੈਣ ਮੇਰੀ ਵਧੀਆ, ਬਣੈਣ ਮੇਰੀ ਵਧੀਆ, ਬਣੈਣ ਮੇਰੀ ਟਾਪ ਦੀ, ਵੱਡਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਪੂਰੀ ਆਵੇ ਛੋਟਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਪ ਦੀ। ਚੀਜ਼ ਹੋਵੇ ਅਸਲੀ, ਚੀਜ਼ ਹੋਵੇ ਅਸਲੀ, ਮੂੰਹੋਂ ਪਈ ਬੋਲਦੀ, ਧੁੱਪ ਨਾਲ ਗੋਰੀ ਲੱਗੇ ਰੱਸੀ ਉੱਤੇ ਡੋਲਦੀ। ਜਿੰਨੇ ਵਾਰੇ ਚਾਹੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਸ ਨੂੰ ਹੰਢਾ ਲਓ, ਜਿੰਨੇ ਵਾਰੇ ਚਾਹੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਸ ਨੂੰ ਹੰਢਾ ਲਓ, ਫੇਰ ਭਾਵੇਂ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਜਾਂਘੀ ਬਣਾ ਲਓ।
Attached to very strong emotions. It's a struggle that I had to deal with. But I decided to share this more. Like so far I've only shared it once. But I decided to share it more because I'll tell you why. There was an incident that happened recently. We had a fashion show a few days ago. Some of the people in this room were present in the fashion show as well. And one of my friends, this beautiful girl Tori, she was in the fashion show. And she looked a bit down afterwards. So I called her and I said, Tori, what was wrong? And she said, I don't know why. I felt I was not pretty enough. I was not tall enough. I was not good enough to be a model. And I said, why would you feel that way? Because she is beautiful. And then she said, oh, someone like you would never understand because you've always been popular. Everyone likes you. You've always been, I don't know, attractive, whatever. And I said, that's not true. So then I realized like how much people sort of assume things about you, you know, like if you don't tell them about your downs, you tell them only about your ups, they assume you have a perfect life. And you've never like been bullied or never faced any negativity, you've always been popular. So I decided to share this so that people know that my life has not always been what it is now.
This year, there's really 2 categories of events. There's about 14 events for the Orange Blossom Festival. As the Mayor, I've asked for more events to be held last year. Last year we had about 5. Obviously it was coming out of COVID, so things were still getting up to speed, but we've got a few more this year. So there's really 2 categories of events. There's two major events. One is at Castle Hill Showground on the 2nd of September. The other one's at Rouse Hill Town Centre on the 9th of September. And Council's running those two events, and then there's 12 community run events which we're providing funding and support to. So the two events which Council running, the first one will be held on the 2nd of September at Castle Hill Showground. So we're teaming up with Aussie Night Markets. So Aussie Night Markets are always at Castle Hill Showground on the first Saturday of each month. And so this is from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. They'll have their usual stalls.
This is the teaching of Buddha, but they don't teach you Buddhism or anything. They teach you how to control your mind and how to get rid of all the impurities from our mind, how to stay calm and quiet in all the situations, all the ups and downs which comes in our life. Basically, it's a training of our mind. We learn how to stay balanced, how to stay calm, quiet, and how to deal with difficult situations and all. We become more aware of other people's situations. Like there's three things we learn basically: how to control our mind, which is the hardest thing. First 3 days, and the tool is our own natural breath. So it's a universal. So they don't teach you any religion. So anybody from the world can learn this technique.
Coming home tired and looking after the family, you just don't have the space to think about your passions. Most often you don't. But there are bits of you that yearn for something, and that unfulfilled need stays with you until the children, if you have children, are off your hands. And they are their own independent bodies, and then you start looking forward to indulging in your passions. And that's been my journey. I'm not saying that this is the kind of journey everybody embarks on, but oftentimes this is what happens to people when their responsibilities are over.
I did a Bachelor of Applied Science in Food Science and Technology, and over the years I actually developed very poor health. I had very bad eating habits because I had a very hectic corporate life. And part of my life was this word, I don't think anybody here uses that word, it's called busy. Okay, you relate to that as well. So so I was always very busy, and I prioritized my career, my job, everything else before I prioritized my health. And as a result of that, I was significantly obese, and I had very bad gut health. And I thought it was normal, to feel bloated, to, feel tired. And then at the end of the day, just eat whatever was put in front of you. And so I got to a point where I had to do something about it. I was going to be turning 30. I was also going to be getting married. And I thought, okay, I'm going to look back at my wedding photos, and I want to be excited about looking at them. So I never liked dieting or going on crash diets or any of those things, because food, I believe, is very important in life. And so I came across a program that actually equipped me to eat healthy, eat differently, just reprogram my food, and I was able to regain control of my health. So I'm very...
To keep our brain working, we need to make sure that we use those things which are not related to a lot of technologies, but probably just something simple and something fun, and makes our life easier to just keep our brain working. So not to take much of our time, let's just go on to an activity where we probably have given a paper to all of you. There will be the numbers that will be displayed on the screen, and you guys can do the calculation. There's no pen, there's no calculator, just use our brain cells. And then towards the end we have the answers. You guys can check it yourself. It's not necessary, it's not competing, it's not a maths competition or anything like that, just something fun. Let's check our mathematical calculation skills. Hope you all enjoy, and I will be here for a while. In case if you have any further questions, do feel free to reach out to me.
What you do is, let's say you eat in a plate and you fill up the plate. What you do is you don't want to struggle and think, oh, it's going to be too hard, I don't want to eat less. What you do is get a smaller plate and fill it up. What really happens is in your brain, there are triggers. When you look at a full plate, you think, oh, I had enough. But when you make it smaller, it still thinks you got a full plate. So you have actually reduced the amount of food by just tricking yourself psychologically in your brain and eating less. The other things you can do, don't eat with your hand because there's more quantity of food going into your mouth every time you eat. So maybe you eat with a smaller spoon. And psychologically what really happens is when you eat, if you do, let's say normally it takes you 20 iterations of eating. If you take a smaller spoon, you'll still do 20 iterations, but you would have eaten less because the spoon is only going to hold so much. So that's another psychological trigger in your brain. So you trick yourself rather than struggle against what you want to achieve.
मैं इतने आनी है, so अगर कोई बोलने से गलती हो गई हुई तो माफी. All good.
My life in true sense. I was working in BHEL and I was made to travel to Chile, Latin America. The person whom I was to meet, it was a paper pulp milk. And the first sentence when he met me in the office, he said, "What do you think of yourself? I have been inviting you for so many days, but you never came." Now situation was, it's offensive and I have gone there for a business. Business was $2 million at that time. I asked him, I said, "You have been inviting me, fine, but I want to ask you one question. What is that you would think of what India is? Yes and no, average, good, bad, things like that." I said, "What do you think?" I think about what Chile is. So he was shocked. He said, "What Chile is?" I said, "A country of turmoil." I'm talking about 1990. A country of turmoil, this and that, all. No, we are not like that. I said, I told what do I perceive. And that's the perception I have about Chile. He says, "No, but we are settled." I said, 2 years back you got settled. And I did a lot of survey. I did, in those days computer was new, so my handwritten note in 16 pages, I presented to him. I said, "This is what Chile is, a good country with, good turnover, this. And that is why I have come." And then I added the sentence she spoke. "It is because of your love. I have come because you have been inviting me." And will you believe that I had gone there for a business of $2 million. And what business I did there? $30 million. And in fact, when I sent, in those days it was more of fax. When I sent the fax to my India office, first my boss was shouted. The person whosoever carried that fax to him, he says, "He has gone, I have given a mandate of $2 million and he is talking about 30 billion. What is this?" Sir, kindly read it. Because the letter said, "If you are interested, you can take this business also at this price, this price, this price." So that is one part of the story.
So here are the pros and cons of greeting. If you know how to greet, you make a good positive first impression, you know how to make it ice-breaking, you know how to have confidence, charisma, positive, and it's professionalism. But if you don't do the greeting right, guess what? It will become embarrassment, awkward, you'll be turned off, and it's not professional as well. So now I'm going to do a quick role play. So turn to the person next to you, say, "Hi, what's your name?" Smile and do a handshake. And how are you going today in Aussie terms? So we'll do a role play now. So go to the person next to you and just say, "What's your name?" Smile, handshake. I'll give you 2 minutes. It's good. Everyone's speaking. It's good. I like it.
As I started, I said you guys are awesome. You give me a big applause, it's not because of how awesome I am, it's because of how kind and generous you are. And I hope by the end of the session, when you get some value, at that time when you give me another bigger applause, it's really proof that you get some value today. Now, just before I finish, brother and sister, did you get some value today? Yeah. Thank you very much.
Each and everybody who is here deserves a thank. And we really thank you very much for that. Shubha will thank you specifically.
Okay. I also thank our mayor, Dr. Peter Ganyani, and our media people, Mr. Harmohan Singwalia and Mr. Harinder Singh. They are two amazing partners of India Club events. When they are here, I really don't have to really worry that much that our event is not gone out. Thank you both very, very much. And all the friends, everyone.
Very nice.